Well, thank you very much. Really appreciate being invited back. The Rotary has been a real supporter of Lynx. I'll get into that a little bit, but I really want to thank Kern for the invitation and the president of your club for the invitation. Leslie helped me do my first Zoom, so we're on my first Zoom. Right now, I'm on the ship up at Brunswick Landing Marina, and to bring you up to speed a little bit, since you mostly last saw us in December, we came back in November and December to be part of a backdrop with RSM, to be part of the community, and to be able to support the schools and the Boys and Girls Club over in Brunswick for the early winter period because we've been so welcomed here. Our winter home port has been St. Petersburg, Florida. Last year, our welcoming here, the Southern hospitality, the kindness of the people, and the climate convinced me that this is where we would want to do our 10-year teardown. So the 10-year teardown is a Coast Guard requirement. And we decided that we were going to come up to Brunswick Landing and do our yard period from starting January 1 and be heading back up to New England the day after Taps of Twilight. So our building period was going to be till about April 1st. And then we were going to be servicing the schools and the other things that we could do in revenue generation out of Morningstar Marina. That was the plan. Well, this year has been an odd year. We've all gone through something a little bit extraordinary, and don't want to belabor that, but it set us back 60 days. So February 15th, the entire crew went home because of COVID. But in November, our big accomplishment was November and December, we sailed 650 kids from the schools and from the Boys and Girls Club in Brunswick. And we did that all for free. It's part of our way of being involved in the community, but doing what we do best, inspiring children, and maybe we create a spark. In December, and the Rotary played a big part in this, and I guess I can have the first slide, Leslie.
Okay, hold on, give me 10 seconds, and we'll be there. And there we are.
Okay, so that's our configuration of what we can look like. And I'll take the third slide. You can skip through the second one. There you go. That's right here in St. Simons Sound. And there's the children that we sail. And there, okay, go back one. No, go back. Yeah, there you go. So here's an example of, go to the kids picture. So there's an example of kids that have come over from the Boys and Girls Club, and we do the same thing with them that we do with everyone else. We go out there, we give them a hands-on experience. We take them out sailing. They participate in hauling the lines and being involved. They're wonderful children, very polite and very inquisitive. And believe it or not, we don't always get that blessing in some of the towns that we go. Our home port in Nantucket, the kids don't respond as well as your kids down here from St. Simons and Brunswick do. So in December, Lynx joined in our own mission. Our mission is education, and what we decided to do is we were going to go to the Bahamas and deliver 1,200 pounds is what we were allowed to do by the Coast Guard for our stability. 1,200 pounds of school supplies. The Rotary was very involved in that. If you can go to the next slide. So these two wonderful ladies and we collaborated. Beth, when she was president, and Susan. Beth and Susan rallied, and Beth jumped through hoops very quickly and came up with a wonderful donation from Rotary for Lynx. And that was greatly appreciated for this voyage that we took to the Bahamas. Susan has been a tremendous supporter of Lynx since really the day we got here 2 years ago. So they got me in touch with Rotary International, and we took the supplies and we worked with the Rotary International in Freeport, Bahamas, And it was a wonderful thing. We sailed in, it was all set to go, and we handed off the supplies, and the crew was able to return. Then we go to the next slide. So we go into action mode of our teardown period with Lynx. And this shows on the right my son, Captain Alex Peacock, who leads the we'll call it our rehabilitation 10-year inspection. He's talking with Captain Casey, and Angela was chief mate, but she's also a captain as well. So we attract a lot of good quality people that have a tremendous amount of knowledge to contribute, because Lynx is a fairly demanding ship to sail, but she's also built like furniture. So taking care of her is a big deal. We have many people that supported us through the Rotary period, and Lucia Gamar, Rotarian. My go-to guy at the Rotary and locally is John Gibson. So there's another one. I've always got a question about where can I procure something and where's the nearest blacksmith or whatever, and John's always got that answer for me. Don and Sue Myers from Nantucket and St. Simons have been very helpful with us. Steve Shuttle at St. Simons Sea Island Forge has been doing blacksmithing for us. Brunswick Landing Marina has been outstanding partner in helping us do what we've done with the ship. Morningstar Marina really wasn't looking to have something like our operation operate out of there, but after we showed them we were competent and we added a nice backdrop to their marina, they really like us there. So that's where we actually do our operating out of. The Village Inn and Pub has been a really big supporter of ours as well. And I'm almost 40 years older than any of the crew, so I've been able to very comfortably stay there, and they've been great friends. Doyle Thomas at the port, incredibly supportive of letting Lynx have access for cranes, and Lang Building Supply, Blaze at Lang. I went in there one day and I said, I need a favor. I need a truck to transport our mast from the port back to Brunswick Landing Marina. And I need it for probably 2 or 3 days, and I can't pay you for it. No questions asked. So he was a great help to us. Can we have the next slide?
Whoops.
Okay, so during our yard period, everything we do on the ship is very similar to the way they were done 200 years ago. Lynx is 19 years old. She just turned 19 on July 28th. And a 10-year period gives us enough time to really concentrate on not every project, but a lot of projects. So here we are doing deck work. We're refastening and taking out all the seams, cleaning out the seams, and we're gonna recock and refasten. Every single screw that we put in there, the screws are $2.81 a piece. So here they are, some of the tools of the trade and some of the idea. It's messy, dirty, tarry work. So can you go to the next slide, Leslie? So those are the bronze fasteners that we use they're 4.5 inches long. Each one of them is $2.82, like I said, and we bought about 700 of them. Okay, next. So here we are. Owens and Pridgeon was our crane operator. The reason we had to go to the port is there's no deep water access. Now the wind's coming up. There's no deep water access or ability for a crane to reach here at Brunswick Landing. So we got the wonderful help from the port of going in, and Owens and Pridgeon would come down and we'd send down the spars. So you go to the next one. And here we are removing our cannons. And then I took the cannons from here to a foundry in Tampa, Florida, and our guns were completely reworked. These guns were specifically cast for Lynx in England, and it's the first time that they've had any reworking, and didn't need much, but they cleaned up a lot of the metal that we couldn't do because of fusing. Okay, next one. So here we go. Now we're loading on the heavy spars, and there's the truck from Lang that they did. So we would actually load them on at the port, and then we had to transport them up with escorts because there's so much overhang. We transport them up to the marina, and then we would reposition the crane at the marina and unload them. So there's a lot of work. It's all hand work. Everybody does it. So it's one reason this has taken us about 120 days of continual work so far to do this process.
Don, are those the green square-shaped things? Are those cushions or what are those?
So they had to load, because the spars had to lay horizontal, they had to build up the bed of the truck with plywood.
Wow.
So we just use those as the resting points. Okay, next one. So one of the things that we knew that we were going to do is we were going to take and replace a lot of our rigging. And this is a cable. This is a cable that came from Carolina Rigging in Charleston, South Carolina. And this is wire rope. We bought a spool. It's about 700 feet. And we took our old rigging, laid it all out, and now we're going to start turning this wire rope into a traditional standing rigging product. Go to the next one. So my son, Captain Alex, he was very involved at the Mystic Seaport in the rigging department. So it was crucial that we had him. We had to do this while he was here and available. And when he's not with Lynx, he drives another boat called Spirit of Bermuda out of Bermuda. So, pardon me, we set it up that Alex was here, and now he goes into teaching, demonstration mode, and building mode. So here we got the wire rope up and suspended, and we're gonna start turning it into a traditional looking product where we oil the wire, then we size the wire with, parcel the wire with friction tape, and then we wrap it with a natural hemp product, and then we tar over that several times, but it's all done very tightly. So can I have the next tape? Next slide. So here's the crew. They're inside. This is a special wire rope vise, and Alex is showing Casey and Angela there how to splice wire rope. Next one. So here's Angela at the vise, and she is now splicing wire rope for our standing rigging. The bottom portion of that is the loop, and that has been done with stitched with a leather work for chafing. Is an anti-chafing piece, and as that ages, we'll go up there and we'll Vaseline over all the leather to keep it in good shape. But that stuff there is at 65 feet up in the air, and it is all treated for the weather. And that we did all that too. Next one. Okay, so here is one of our crewmates, and she is tarring the seizing that we have now put over the parceling. There's a lot of stuff here, but this is the way they did it 200 years ago, and they did use wire rope back then. They were making wire. They referred to everything as cable, but we're going over that spool there is the seizing that is overlaid the wire, and now we're tarring it. So go to the next slide. This process here is all pre-COVID. So here Angela she's getting her hammer set up, and you can see to the right underneath her orange hand, that is where the seizing has been applied. We use this mallet to wrap the seizing very tightly. All the rotations there add friction. Now, if you look at the left, the wire, that is wire that's been covered with the parceling, and the parceling has been tarred over. So now you can go to the next slide. Okay, so here's some of the new rigging, some of the old, and now we're putting our ratlins on. So this is what we call rattling down. We're taking spun mylar saint twine, tarred saint twine, and now we're adding the ratlins to the to our brand new rigging. Can you hear me okay with the wind?
Yes, no problem
Okay.
at all.
Very good. So this is all up at Brunswick Landing Marina. They have given us uninhibited access. So anybody that runs into Michael Torres, you can thank them that they've been so cooperative. Both Michael and Darren Peach have been really great to work with. Okay, next slide. So I wasn't expecting this. This got into my budget pretty deep, but we had 26,000 hours on our old engine. And Caterpillar said that they've never seen that in a propulsion unit. So they said, since the mast was out, is the only time that we can get into the engine or get the engine out of the ship. So we were forced to find some money, and we bought a new rebuilt engine with a 2-year warranty. And our new engine has about 6 hours on it right now. We worked with Yancey Brothers out of Savannah. It was a very clean thing, but this is happening while the crew was away. So this is the period that I was here alone, working with Yancey, and while we were in quarantine. So next slide. So one of the things that we did, I don't know if you picked it up in the previous pictures, but our hailing port has been Nantucket since I took over the ship. And I've been with the ship 10 years, but I took it over financially responsible in 2014. But I had never replaced the Portsmouth, New Hampshire boards with our home port in Nantucket Island, Mass. So I got to do my own carving. I carved those personally. And there's your Rotarian, Nantucket resident, and St. Simon's Island Rotary Club, Lucia Gamar. Great supporter of Lynx's program for us. And I love that woman dearly. Got the next slide? I apologize, Lucia. I didn't tell you I'd put that up there. So I'm going to have to move below because we've got rain coming up the channel. So just bear with me while I move through cleanly here. And
Oh, his head.
okay.
We're
All right. Now I'm down in the officers' quarters. Everybody with me?
Yeah.
Okay. This is a wonderful place for me. This is, when you come aboard Lynx as a deckhand or someone that is new to it, this is the quarters that you aspire to get back to. And so one of the things we did is we've got this beautiful bird's eye maple. See that all there? And one of the things about this area and our program is we celebrate War of 1812 and the wonderful, wonderful history of St. Simon's Island and the War of 1812. At Gascoigne Landing is where they shipped the live oak from St. Simon's to Boston to build the USS Constitution. And I just think that is the coolest thing, that we can bring this War of 1812 privateer into this area that is so significant in American history, but yet is so close to our mission. So, next slide. So meanwhile, we were doing stuff here, and while Alex was in quarantine in New Hampshire, he was also building spars for us up there. So this is a small spar that he's building by hand, laid it up and carved it out. So we were working back and forth quite closely. Next one. So this is our education officer, Leanne Boozy. Leanne comes to us with all the wonderful educational programs that she has designed for us. So you know, we are state aligned to the Georgia state standards for school field trips, history, and marine sciences. So we bring that, but Leanne also brings her craftsmanship, and here she is fitting a canvas cover that she's built for us. So can't say enough about that woman, what she's contributed to our program as well. Next one. If I start running on time, let me know. So we have wine barrels on the ship, and those white boxes in the back of my truck, those are life rafts. So our inspection service for our life rafts that have to be done annually costs about $6,000. I take them down to Tampa, and I got a brewery down there to donate 2 new wine barrels for the deck because the other ones that we had all rotted. So that's what that trip was all about. Next one. So now, here we are, arriving back at the port to start stepping the mast with our new rigging, the work we've done to the standing rigging and the running rigging. And once again, Owens of Pritchard comes in. So we've contributed, this yard period for us is about $165,000 that I budgeted. And that money, over 100,000 of it has been spent locally. Next slide.
Their video on this, you need to sit and watch it.
So right now it's pouring out, and the ship is, so we don't get the pushed up on the dock. The crew is out there and they got the ship operating in reverse for this wind and weather that just blew in. Now there's the ship arriving at the back at the port for standing up spars. We call this process sending gear up. Okay, next slide. Good. So now we're in the rigging process, and all of this work that they've done, it's all by hand, it's all traditional, and now we are tensioning the rig. We're using a chain fall there to grab extra tension as the lanyards are tensioned. So when you all come aboard the boat next time, you can inspect these areas and see how tedious this work is. Next slide. So this is an example of some of the blacksmithing work that we've had to do. And you have a wonderful, wonderful blacksmith. His name is Steve Shuttle. Steve owns the Sea Island Forge that's behind Southern Seoul, but his foundry and the forge are up by the airport, the jet port. So I strongly recommend having a relationship with him. The stuff he builds, the fire pits, the work he can do is extraordinary. So we're really, really lucky to have a blacksmith right here in town. And he's done a public project for us.
I'm going to interrupt you. Kern, that would be a great program. Write it down.
No, I wrote it down already.
It would
Sorry,
be.
Don.
It would be. Yep. Okay, next slide. So here we are sending gear up, and the lower mast is secure, and now we're sending up a topmast. So there's Captain Alex Peacock and our engineer Josh up there working on the rigging. This is last week. Next slide. It's pouring buckets outside and the ship is in reverse.
We
And
can tell.
this could be a process that we'd be doing at 3 in the morning. If the weather comes up, we're always staffed on the ship. Here is Alex and Joshua receiving our top yard. Sail, everything is on it. So that's all done by hand. We're doing everything by hand. Crew down on deck is sending everything up. Next slide. So we're getting gusts through here right now that we should have seen yesterday with the tropical storm, but didn't happen. Here's another project that we sunk into. We got into varnish work. The doors and the hatches really needed it. We're not all done with it yet, but we got a good start. Next slide. So here's, this is 3 days ago. There's Captain Alex caulking where we suspected we had a leak. And he's using caulking iron. The hammer is called a beetle. And that's cotton around his neck. And underneath the cotton is he's already driven the oakum. And then we will heat up and pour tar over that. That chimney you see there and the saddle, that is where the new barrels go to conceal those things. That's providing engine room, ventilation, and a deck wash. Next slide.
That's it.
That's it?
That's the last slide.
Okay. Well, so Lynx is a 501c3 educational program. And we rely on our revenue sailings. We rely on donations. We have weddings. We do anything we can to be part of the community. And if the community doesn't have the ability to get behind us, I get that, not everybody can, but we look for children. We look for civic organizations that we can be part of. And we like to give back and contribute to all of that. So that's why we're here. We found the kids. We found people that are getting behind us and supporting us. There's a lot of weather going on outboard right now. I can hear the crew yelling. The engine is in high gear reverse, and stuff is being tended to. I can feel the boat rocking. So pretty unusual that we didn't get this weather yesterday. We're getting it today. But we found a real welcoming here in Southern hospitality. So we looked forward to growing relationships and becoming a bigger part of the community and working with assets and the people that are here. Does anybody have any questions that they'd like
I
to
have one question. So what would you do? Say the storm became a hurricane and you're there in the port. What do you do?
Well, we secured the ship for hurricane. We set 2 anchors. We set out offshore lines to docks. We reduced windage. We got rid of anything on deck that might blow around, and then we secured. The crew had plenty of provisions on board, and we were all prepared to go into watches and protect the ship, and that's what we do.
Wow, a lot of work.
So it is a lot of work, and to put it in perspective, right now in the preparation with 6 crew members on board and the 4 days we did it, we have 24 working days into just hurricane proof the ship. and then to get unsecured. So
Yeah.
it was a lot of work.
Yeah, it was.
We only got reconfigured into our slip just before lunch, and then we stood the crew down for the rest of the day. But now they're all up. They're on deck. They're all soaking wet. We're driving the ship on the dock, and it's the ship demands an awful lot. Anybody else?
Any questions?
It's amazing.
So we have when we're in voyaging mode, we have a cook, we have captain, a chief mate, an engineer, and the deckhands. And okay, somebody's got a question. Go right ahead.
Yes, Don, they're asking for contact information to arrange a tour. Is there a phone number or something I can type in here?
Yeah, the access is my personal cell. We're a pretty small company. I'm at 978-479-2197.
Okay, we got it.
Good. So between the one thing that we have here that is a detriment to the ship, and it's all timing. We never expected to be here at this time of year, is the heat that comes up. It's very difficult to preserve a wooden ship in this heat. So had everything gone on schedule, we would be in Nantucket right now. But we're still trying to uprig. So we're here. We will likely go away after we sea trial, and then we'll be back in November. We have plans to engage with the Boys and Girls Club, with John Pope over at Frederica Academy. John Pope was also very, very instrumental in our Bahamas relief mission with school supplies. They donated an awful lot of school supplies that they weren't using. So if anybody runs into John Pope, you can thank him for his generosity and what they provided for Lynx to take to the Bahamas for their hurricane relief that we did last time. This area, Brunswick Landing Marina, is a hurricane hole. On a scale of 1 to 5, if you would rate it for protection, this is a number 5. Morningstar Marina is much more exposed. She would be at a 1. So we picked this up here. I would think that this would also be a good show for you a little bit to get a tour and an understanding of what Brunswick Landing Marina is doing to enhance, because they're Georgia's largest marina. They offer tremendous protection to the ships that are spending mostly the winter time in the islands, but they bring their boats to Brunswick to summer for protection, and they bring them here. So there's a tremendous amount of revenue being generated in Brunswick by this marina. Is there another question?
Oh, Don, so I know you go up and down the coast, and you've just explained you went over to the Bahamas. How much further do you venture the ship down?
Okay,
Yeah.
good question. So Woodson Woods, who was narrating the video, he built the ship in Maine and launched in 2001. I didn't know it, but I was going to be his bailout opportunity. I was going to be his thing. But he lived in Hawaii. So the ship spent the first 9 years of her life on the West Coast. She's been through the Panama Canal twice, and she's been to Hawaii 3 times. So quick weather update. The engine has now come down. It's no longer pouring. And the ship is now secured, and the crew will go into dry out and settle down mode until the next squall comes through. In addition to going to Hawaii 3 times, she's been to Vancouver, British Columbia, through the Panama Canal twice, up through the Yucatan Peninsula, up the East Coast. We go up and down the East Coast now twice a year. And we have done all the tall ship events in the Great Lakes. So we've gone through the St. Lawrence Seaway 4 times, and we've gone as far west as Duluth, Minnesota. Duluth, Minnesota is the furthest port in the world from any ocean. It's 2,300 miles one way, and you've got to lock up 365 feet through the Great Lakes locks to get there. So we've done that. We've been to Duluth twice. We won't do that again. It's just too far. It takes us away from our revenue port. Nantucket got behind us financially, and it's not fair for them to not have Lynx there in the summertime. It's hard enough under this particular circumstance, but we're really concentrating on 5 ports. We don't want to displace any other operation. So we came to St. Simons because we weren't displacing another port. We came to Brunswick because we weren't displacing another ship. And if we felt that the community could get behind me enough, we'll stay. And St. Simons is really now becoming a very important part of our program financially, as well as civically, as well as having the kids. The Rotary has been a big part of that. You've chartered us, you've given us donation, you've given us wonderful referral to people. And we like to give back in a very meaningful way with a great hands-on experience. And people are learning, and they don't even realize they're learning because they're having so much fun. So we concentrate in Nantucket, Annapolis, Maryland, the Golden Isles, and St. Petersburg, Florida. And then every other year we would go up to Pensacola, Florida, because they've been good to us well. So that's our main concentration there. And it's always being adjusted based upon the demand and the impact. We will do it. St. Simons Island is a very, very challenging place to sail. It's a lot like river sailing. There's a lot of current. You run out of water pretty quickly with the shoals. So we're looking at modifying our program here a little bit, and would like to do a little bit more extended voyaging with the students down to Fernandina, up to Charleston, where they can really get an educational experience for a prolonged period. So we're working on those opportunities, and we're always open for suggestions too. So I'm available. Our bank account's never full. The phone always rings. So if there's a way that we can help out a Rotarian with a program or a design, well, by all means, be in touch. Does anybody else have any other questions? And how are we doing for time?
We have time for one quick question, and then we have to wind
Okay.
down. Anyone?
Gary, you're trying to talk, but we can't hear you. No, not to us. Okay.
Okay.
Wait a minute. There's a chat question. Let's see here. Oh, I think it says it's from you. I will be calling. Who's Prez?
Well, that's me, but that's not me.
Okay.
Sorry, that's me.
Okay.
And I'm driving. That's why I didn't. The rain is really picking up here. But I'm looking.
Derek, we can't hear you.
We're losing you in the rain.
Yeah. All right. Don, thank you so much. It's always a pleasure to be with you, even long distance. And we love everything that you do, and we look forward to a continued relationship. Derek, we can't hear you very well.
Well, thank you very much. Being invited to this is a real treat for me. Thanks to Leslie and Kern, I learned how to do Zoom.
Yay.
Our relationship with the Rotary Club is very significant, and I'm very proud of it, as well as with the Golden Isles CVB, as well as the Chamber of Commerce. But we really are honored and so pleased to be part of the Golden Isles backdrop. And we bought a brick. It's over in Neptune Park.
Yay.
For the 1812 privateers. And thank you very much for having me. I hope everybody has a great time. And thank you very much.
And
We
we'll
look
be in
forward
touch.
to getting back out. I'll give you a buzz when you get back in the fall, and hopefully we can get out for a sail.
Thank you. I hope everybody has a great day.
Thanks so
Bye,
much.
Don. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone. Be good Rotarians. We'll see you next week.
Bye-bye.